All right, let's start with some misconceptions that are happening. I like the poker chip example, so we're going to stay with that. But the one thing that I need to make clear is I'm talking about ponds and small lakes. If you're watching my videos and then trying to apply this information to lakes that are thousands or tens of thousands of acres in size, okay, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying, because that's almost a completely different game over there. Okay, this is a simple 2-3 fish system in a pond, right? So that being said, let's say we have a new pond that we stocked it with bluegill. All right, so we let that go for a year, and the bluegill will fill the carrying capacity of the pond up. So this represents all the fish in the pond in pounds, and it's all in bluegill because that's all we stocked. If we stock the pond properly, right, there's our bass population. You need a lot more forage, like we said in the last example, because bass takes so much to grow. They have to eat a lot of fish. This is what a trophy bass pond would look like visually, right? Very few bass, lots of forage. If you wanted something that caught a few more fish, it's probably not even that much. It's probably more like that, okay? So that is kind of a visual representation of what a pond you would take a kid fishing in, okay? Like you'd have a chance. You have a little higher bass population, so you have a higher chance of catching fish, right? This is what it'll look like once the population gets stunted. All right, these bass are not going to grow anymore. There's not enough forage. There's too many bass. This is kind of a visual representation of what one of those ponds or small lakes looks like, where you just always catch 1-pounders. Okay, these fish are not growing. They could be 1 pound and 10 years old in a situation like this. They're just not growing anymore. All right, now let's just take one more species of fish to a pond specifically, not a lake, a pond. Let's say crappie are introduced. Okay, this is what's going to happen. They're going to eat the bass fry because they spawn earlier in the spring, right? And they're also going to eat the bluegill, probably not quite that badly. You'll still have a little bit of a bluegill population. But that's what happens visually to a pond with crappie. Okay, now guys think, oh, I'm just going to go catch some crappie. Okay, let's say you have a 10-acre pond, and you and all of your buddies go out there and harvest all the crappie that you can catch, and let's just say it's 3,000 crappie. Okay, this is basically what you've done. Okay, and the next spawn, the next year, they're going to take that right back from you. That's the situation that you're getting in with a competing species. The competing species will absolutely dominate the system while the other game fish suffer. Okay, and that's just 3 species of fish. I'm not talking about some massive reservoir that's got 25 different species of fish. That's just how a simple pond, 3 fish system with competing species. So that's why we tell people, do not stock crappie in ponds, because it'll generally naturally skew in this direction. And you'll have very few bass that'll be in very poor condition. You'll have very few bluegill that'll be in very poor condition. And you'll have a lot of crappie, and since there's nothing really controlling their numbers, they're also in a poor condition. And you can tell by measuring their relative weights. I've measured, it's a mathematical thing, right? I've measured this so many times using math. You can literally see it in the numbers once you get used to, understanding relative weight and measuring fish and population dynamics. You'll see it in the math. Okay, this is proven science. Okay, and I know there's going to be guys that are going to come on and they're going to say, yeah, but I caught an 8-pound bass out of a pond with crappie. That happens to me every time I make this video. All right, how long was the bass? Let's use our relative weight. All right, 24-inch fish, 8-1, that's the standard. I guarantee they're catching like 25, 26, 27-inch bass that weigh 8 pounds. Those bass are in terrible condition for a fish that length. All right, that's what I'm talking about. You can't use just the weight of the fish as proof. You have to use the standard. You have to use the relative weight, the weight relative to the standard. Are you catching 24-inch bass that are 8 pounds? Those are healthy bass. 25-inch bass that are 8 pounds, I've got a problem. All right, that's not good. Thanks for watching.